Alright, so I wanted to talk about some shit real quick. And this is one of those times where I don't really feel like going through the process of making a thumbnail and recording and then uploading. So I'm just going to shoot it live. And then when it finishes processing all by itself, then it finishes processing. Because it's 2 minutes to noon. And I plan to be leaving for the airport at like 3:30 in the afternoon. So I really don't have a lot of time to be bullshitting. Still got some stuff I need to do. So, just in case you haven't seen, hey, I ordered the piston and rod package, the Nippon Racing pistons and the Scat rod combos, 525 the other day, and Jesse hit me up after I ordered them, and he told me he was gonna put them in the same day. I was like, okay, that's cool, but I didn't think nothing of it, and I forgot about it. What's up, Chad? And I got it a day and a half after. I ordered them before I went to work on Tuesday, and then today I'm getting them. And I go to work at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I ordered them around 2 o'clock, right before I walked out the door, and I got them already. So that's cool. Anyway, so like the whole idea, the end game of the Integra, the goal is, right? Because I said I have some plans that I was going to do. I'm going to fuck around with that car. But I kind of like stopped talking about it because the car wasn't even fucking running. Now the car's running. This weekend I'm going to be gone. Next weekend is Honda Day, New Hampshire. So I'm going to be gone for the next 2 weekends. But when I come back for that, when I come back the third weekend, it is going to be time to focus on the Integra. I'm going to mock up the turbo kit. I got to rig up the throttle cable. Thank you very much, Mr. Zachary. And and then after that, it's going to be like brakes and rotors I need for the front, and that's it. And I guess it will rig up the cooling system, and then it's ready to go to the dyno. So right now, the whole thing was getting the car running. The car runs. I need to fucking finish that shit, and then the original idea is to tune where I can on pump. Like, I'm gonna see how much I can make on pump, and this is not gonna be me pushing the limits on pump. This is gonna be me going to the tuner and be like, yo, give me what I can get on pump, where it starts to feel like, where you think it needs to stop, wherever that's gonna be at. Now, on plenty of these builds before, I've made 450 horsepower, so I know it's going to be at least around that range, especially with, this block and head that I have, the B18 GSR head. I don't feel like I have any problems. Plus, the turbo is a little bit bigger than turbos you've used before, so I don't think the 450 is going to be a problem. I actually expect, how you doing, Mr. Juan? I expect at least the high 400s at a minimum for this. Yeah, so there's that. I'm going to do that on pump. Then I'm going to, have the car sit for a while. I'm going to drive it a little bit, enjoy it for what it is, for where it's at, because it's been a while since I've had a car at that power level. So I'm going to drive around on it, have fun with it. Then once that's done, then I can go back to focusing a little bit on the RSX. And then maybe I'll play with the RSX for a while, and then once the RSX is ready, then I'll go back to the Integra. And the idea is I want to push the limits of the Nippon Racing pistons. I want to kind of like walk it up and see what I can get away with. And I guess this may be like, I'm thinking maybe eventually multiple tunes to push it on the 85. So I've seen a lot of guys, not me personally, but I've seen a bunch of people do 500 and low 500s with the Nippon Racing package. And I know the rods, I'm pretty sure, that was it Jeff over at CSS, when he does the forged Tron pistons on the Scat rods, he rates the rods at 700 wheel horsepower. So 700 wheel horsepower is the comfort zone of the rods. I haven't really seen like the upper limits of the pistons, and I kind of want to find them. And of course, it's how you drive the car, how long it lasts, that kind of situation, that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm looking for. So I know the 500s is definitely doable. So and of course my clutch is going to be the biggest issue on that. Clutch and fuel system. I'm going to have a 255. I have 800cc injectors, or 880s. So I'm going to need much bigger injectors for E85. Maybe I'll get some 2200s. And I'm going to need to step up to a 440, I think it is, for the fuel pump. And then I'm going to need to fucking, bite my knuckles and buy a twin disc for the B series. And then of course the block is CSS, so I don't have any worries about the sleeves giving out before anything else do. And so I don't have any worries on the sleeves. I don't have any worries on the rod. So I'm just, like I said, finding the limitations of the pistons where we can stay long term. So I guess that after I upgrade Nothing. I'm not really worried about the tranny because this is something like I told you, I'm not taking this car to the track. At most, it's going to be highway pulls, like a third gear type thing. So I'm not really too worried about the tranny failing on me. Now I know I'm talking about big power, but I've also mentioned before that I don't mind this car being a dyno queen. So I'm just gonna take it in, tune it, see if I can get. I guess when I go back to when I do the upgrade and jump to E85, I'm gonna see about 600 horsepower. That's gonna be the goal. And if we make 600 horsepower, see where we're at, see what's holding it back from making more power. I would imagine that the turbo would probably play a bigger factor. But I don't know for sure until we get to that point. So once I do the E85 upgrades and upgrade the clutch and everything, go back to the dyno, start squeezing out more power, and see what starts to fail, and then upgrade that and see what we can make more. And then I just kind of like I said, walking it up, just keep walking the power up until we get to the point where see if we can get a piston failure. Yeah, I know that seems kind of crazy, but I like I said, I know I have my faith limitation areas where I know I can easily, comfortably make a horsepower of these, and I think for the 450 to 500 horsepower range, you can't really beat these Nippon Racing pistons for the budget. But I want to be able to push the limitations and see how long I can drive on it at certain power ranges before it starts to be a problem, and maybe do it even multiple times. Just have that car be like a test dummy. So that's what I would like to do with that. Just play with it a little bit. So that's gonna be the end goals of the Integra. Like, this is a sponsored build, and I want to be able to like what shit. So like what Humble Performance has recently been doing, and they've been causing some controversy and stir up, like the 600 plus wheel horsepower K24 running tins, like the stock sleeve fucking B series, I think a GSR that I talked about the other day, that was making 713 or 712 horsepower on stock sleeves. It's a piston rods and I think a valve train combo. So like just like and that's what Humble's doing right now too. They're also walking the power up. There was 500 wheel horsepower, then the 600 wheel horsepower, 700 wheel horsepower, and from the whisperings I'm hearing, they might try to push it up again. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And that's exactly what I want to do with the Nippon Racing pistons. Do it now, walk it up with this car, see where we go, see where we get to, and then maybe even do it again to see if we can't get like a baseline with multiple sets to see where they give out at, or see what the uppermost limits are. And now I'll still recommend the high 400s, low 500s for these pistons for your average guy who wants to build an engine that wants to, wants it to last long term without any worries. But for the crazy motherfuckers like myself who like to push the limitations and just get as much power out for however much time we can, then that's what I want to see. And who knows? Maybe I'll walk it up to like 550 for longevity, and that's the goal, is to hopefully see, because there are a few other builds that I've seen out there on YouTube that are within the last couple of years. Nippon Racing pistons making 500 plus. Same thing like with the YCP Vitara pistons also making in that 500 plus range. But with the YCPs, we know, or I've seen, that they don't last long term like that. So definitely want to see that with the Nippon Racing. I don't see too many other people trying to push the set. I think it's a very slept on fucking set of pistons, and hopefully we can turn that around here with a little help from trial and error. And so as far as an estimation on when do I think the Integra is going to actually be tuned, there is it's a handful of annoying shit that needs to be done, like speed sensor and stuff like that. But thankfully, fortunately enough for myself, the things I need to spend money on for that car are few, and small. They're small dollar items. So brakes and rotors and shit like that won't be expensive for me to get. And then now that the car actually turned on and is alive, it's a super motivation for me to get things ready. The first thing I'm going to focus on when I start to fuck with the Integra is just mocking up the turbo kit itself. So I'll get that done, knocked out, and then get the I think maybe before I even worry about mocking up the turbo kit, I'm gonna put the fucking axles in, so that way the car can move under its own power, and I can actually realign it in my driveway, because it's been stuck at a shitty angle for months because I let it roll down the driveway a little bit, and it's too heavy to push it fucking back up by myself. So yeah, get the axles in, get the fuel tank swapped out. Hey, Mr. Baytech. Bro, I've been meaning to come check out your channel. I heard that your fucking car's running, man. And I want to come check that out too. Yeah, all the boost. Yeah, man. Hopefully, throw at as much boost as we can. Like I said, hopefully the accessory items start to give out before the engine block itself. I have faith. I think that we're gonna. I think that this build is gonna surprise some people. I think that I'll probably have a failure somewhere else in the engine before I will on the bottom end, and that's hopefully what I'll prove. Hopefully, we'll prove that here. A lot of people out there doing a lot of big things with just the piston rod combo, and I'd like to see where we can go with this. So 700 horsepower would be the safety limits recommended by Jeff for the rods. So who knows? Maybe we'll even see about squeezing out 700. It's gonna be fucking expensive, but hopefully within the next 2 months. But I would say my projection would be the end of the summer. I would say that by the end of the summer that this build will be tuned and ready, or at least for its basic shit. Yeah, yeah, it's a good shit on that car, man. Yeah, so who knows? Like, hopefully, cross some fingers to see if we can get 700 out of it. If I can get up to anywhere close to 700, I'll call it a wrap and leave it like that. And it'll just be like a fucking, maybe then I'll worry about cleaning up the shell, making it really pretty, and I'll just have it like a fucking Dino Queen show car, and I probably won't even drive it too much. All right, guys. So that's it. Real quick video. I just wanted to talk about the Integra real quick, and also I really want to do. I would really like to see more builds with these Nippon Racing pistons, man. I'm gonna be doing my K24 with the 12-to-1 Nippon Racing pistons, and most likely on stock rods. Most likely, I haven't 100% decided on that yet, but that's probably the way I'm gonna go, because I don't expect to see more than 280, 300 horsepower on that. And but yeah. I think we did $1,200 total for homeboys that ordered this setups build. 525 of that money went to fucking buying pistons and rods. So it's not. I don't think it's that expensive of a build, especially the fact that I'm providing the block, I'm providing the crank. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, I'm probably making less than half of what I charged dude for. But that's just because I'd like to see some more of these builds go out, and plus I'm sitting on a lot of blocks right now. So, and anyway, guys, I think yesterday I also started searching for B18s again. I got some hits. Picking up another B18, or actually, I'm leaving town before I can pick it up from the guy. But a friend of mine's going to pick up the block for me, so I'm gonna have another B18 short block. Yeah, well, that's cool, Juan. When you get done with your build, let me know. See if we can talk about it here. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna be picking up another B18, so I'll have another B18 available on the side that I'm prepping. And I think I might need another crank, because one crank went to Edgar's build, and another crank is going to this build. So I think that's all I have for B18s. There's a lot of B20s out there for sale that are cheap. So if I need to, I'll just buy a B20 and steal a crank out of that and have the B20 on the side for something else. I think I would rather do just high compression NA builds for the B20, and do, I'd like to see some more B18 builds, just because you can squeeze a lot more power out of them without having to worry about the sleeves giving out on you. So yeah, if you're interested in a B18 build along these lines, it doesn't take me long to put these things together. The only reason why this is going to be delayed, like the guy doesn't need the block until the end of June, which works out for me because the next 2 weeks are done for me. I can't work. But under normal circumstances, I go get a block, and then depending on how nasty it is, how much I have to clean up. It doesn't really take me long. I had already prepped Edgar's block, so it already been painted and cleaned and painted. It just needed to be honed and assembled. And so for honing and assembly, I wasn't really 100% sure I was going to get it done in one night, but I did. And that was with me stopping to go buy that K20 that I bought the other night. So when it comes down to it, guys, if I already have the block and it's ready to go, it doesn't take me more than a day to put these things together. So turnaround time is going to be pretty quick. Now that I've already talked to Jesse, I know Jesse will get the parts out to me really quick. So if you hit me up sometime during the week, then if you hit me up early enough in the week, and I already have the block ready to go, then you can have your block assembled and shipped by the end of the weekend. And another thing I have to do before I take off, before I fly out today, is I'm going to see if I can swing by FedEx real quick and ship out Edgar's block to him. And then hopefully within the next month or so, we'll see Edgar's build back, and then we'll have some numbers from that. From just I think the plan is just a high compression block and tune with a stock head for now, and then hopefully we can get some decent numbers out of that. Shit, keep doing it. Yeah. I mean, like I've said before, man. Like my prices are gonna eventually gonna go up because, of course, my prices are gonna go up with overhead. Eventually, I plan on this being my full time job. Now, I want to lean on the parts a lot more than the engine assembly. I want to make the main income be from parts, but I still want to build engines for people because I'm still gonna build engines because, like, for me, building engines is like a painter. Like painters, like they like painting, and then they have their paint, their fucking portrait done, and they sell it, right? Because you can only keep so many of those things. Same thing with engines. I can only keep so many. So I want to keep building engines, but I can't keep them all. So I have to sell some. I got to make some money, and then of course I use that money to send it back into buying more parts and stuff for more engines and whatnot. So right now I'm doing decent amount of discounts. Like I think I knocked off like $150 for the whole cost for dude to get this build done. And I'm willing to talk prices with people if I see that you're motivated and got money. Plus, also, I'm willing to work with your budget. I know people don't have a lot of money to spend, so as long as I get the money for parts up front, I can take the money for parts, order the parts, get the job done, ready to go, and then you can pay me as needed. We'll talk about that in detail at the time, but pay as you go for the rest of it, the labor, until we're ready to ship. And plus, honestly, I don't mind it being that way because yes, I can assemble a block in a day. I prefer to take 2 days to do it. I like a day or two, so I don't have to rush. I can take my time. One day to clean and prep the block. One day to just bolt the crank in, and then the last day to drop in pistons and rods. So I like to take 2 or 3 days. And if I take 3 days, then I'm looking at maybe 2 weeks because it's one weekend and the next weekend to be finished. So I actually don't mind taking the payments like that because that gives me a little bit more time to do things at an easier, more chill pace. Because as much as I like building engines, I don't like to build them under pressure. So that's it. 16 minutes. Gonna wrap it up, and I guess I did say that the next video I'm gonna do is gonna be a case series one. We're gonna talk. I'm not gonna talk about exactly what it is here because I don't want people jumping in with their 2 cents before I get it out. It's the same thing like on Facebook. I still get people who come to my page and try to give me tips on building engines. Like I don't understand this, but whatever. So thanks for watching, guys, and peace.